Howdy, y'all. This is Paul, the Redneck Thinker. What we have here is a channel to communicate. I want you folks to be thinking by the time you leave my videos. Why? Because I'm tired of people talking via what other people tell them to think. So, watch my video and enjoy the chance to think for yourself. Oh, and if you don't mind, like, subscribe, comment, and I've got a link tree down below. It's got my social media, and it has my Patreon if you want to help out. Thank y'all. Kirsten Labado was in prison for 16 years for a crime that she was framed by police for. She may not have lived the most productive life, but that does not mean that the Las Vegas PD and the DA's office did not destroy her life. A jury decided that what was done to her was worth $34 million, which taxpayers will have to pay because people meant to bring justice perverted it instead. There are many people who say these things happen all the time, which can make someone agree considering the amount of stories that can be found. People even say that these are just clickbait, but the point is, would you want to go through this? This woman was attacked. She defended herself, which the cops used as a way to frame her for a crime that they had to hide evidence to convict her for. It sounds more like the plot to a movie on Lifetime than real life. Putting a spotlight on such stories hopefully will make other cops and prosecutors think twice before doing this, because this really is getting to the point that it's idiotic in this world. If you want to research my links and do your own bit of sleuthing, all the links are in the Substack link down below. So, this is from the Innocence Project, and this is what this young woman had to go through. Kirsten Blaze Labado was just 18 years old when she was charged with the 2001 murder of Duran Bailey, a homeless man in Las Vegas. She was tried twice for the crime and always maintained her innocence. On December 29, 2017, upon a motion by the Clark County District Attorney's Office, Clark County District Court's Honorable Chief Judge Elizabeth Gonzalez dismissed all charges against Kirsten Blaze Labado and ordered her to be released from prison. On December 19, 2017, Clark County District Court Judge Stephanie Miley had reversed Labado's murder conviction. After a 5-day hearing in October, the court had found Labado's defense lawyers violated her constitutional right to effective legal representation by failing to call pathology and entomology experts regarding the victim's time of death, which would have supported her strong alibi. Labado had served nearly 16 years in prison, despite compelling evidence of her innocence. Labado was just 18 years old when she was charged with the brutal murder of Duran Bailey. Labado, who was tried twice for the crime, has always maintained her innocence. Bailey's body had been found at around 10 p.m. on July 8, 2001, next to a dumpster in the parking lot of a bank building. He had been brutalized. His eyes were swollen shut, his skull cracked, several of his teeth had been knocked out of his mouth, a carotid artery was cut, and his, male genitalia had been removed. Good Lord, somebody really didn't like him. Labado grew up in Panica, Nevada, a small town 3 hours north of Las Vegas. In late May 2001, 2 months before Bailey was killed, Labado was visiting friends in Las Vegas when she was attacked in a parking lot by a man who attempted to do something of an intimate nature that was against her consent. Carrying a small knife given to her by her father for her protection, Labado slashed the man's groin area and escaped his grasp. When she drove off, she saw the man on the ground, mobile and apparently crying. All good. In coming days and weeks, Labado described the attack to numerous people, making clear that it occurred before July 2001 and stating that she believes she may have cut the man in the groin area before running off to safety. On July 20th, 2001, nearly 2 weeks after Bailey's murder, Las Vegas Metro Police Department detectives received a phone call from a Panaca resident who had heard from another Panaca resident that Labado had told her that she had cut off a man's genitalia in Las Vegas. Based on that attenuated story alone, detectives immediately drove 3 hours to Panaca from Las Vegas. Upon arriving at Labado's family home, the detectives told Labado that they knew she had recently been attacked. The police recorded a statement in which Labado described the attempted intimate nature non-consensual thing in late May, stating it had happened at least a month ago, clearly describing a motel parking lot as a location, not a dumpster, and describing a man who was mobile and alive when she left, not beaten to death as was Bailey. Under the mistaken belief that police were informing her that the man had tried to rape her, had died, she expressed remorse and made other comments that the detectives took as a confession for Bailey's murder, even though the event Labado described was glaringly at odds with the basic facts of his killing. Armed only with this statement, the detectives arrested Labado for Bailey's murder. The police did not investigate clear alternate perpetrators with the motive and means to so violently kill Bailey. On July 1st, 2001, 1 week before he was found dead, Bailey assaulted and, did that intimate thing to a woman who lived in an apartment building next to the bank where his body would be found. Bailey threatened to kill the woman if she told anyone, but she eventually reported the attack to the police on July 5th, 2001, just 3 days before Bailey was killed. She also told a number of her male neighbors who had an ongoing dispute with Bailey about the attack. Despite the woman's prior contact with the victim, as well as her male friend's motive to retaliate against Bailey, the police prematurely dismissed these potential suspects. Instead, the police focused solely on Labado, a teenager with no connection to Bailey and no motive to harm him. At trial, the prosecution relied primarily on Labado's statement to the detectives, which they characterized as a confession, as there was no physical or forensic evidence linking Labado to this crime. The defense presented numerous family members and neighbors who testified that Labado was actually in Panaca on July 8, 2001. The prosecution even conceded in summation that Labado was in Panaca as of 11:30 a.m. on July 8th. However, the prosecution relied heavily on their medical examiner's time of death estimation that undermined Labado's alibi defense. The medical examiner estimated that Bailey died up to 24 hours before he was pronounced dead at 3:50 a.m. on July 9th, meaning that approximately 4 a.m. on July 8th. The state argued that this put Bailey's death at a time when Labado was not accounted for by her alibi witnesses, and the jury convicted her. On July 2017 hearing, Labado presented the testimony of 3 forensic entomologists or insect scientists, all of whom concluded that based on the weather conditions in Las Vegas on July 8, 2001, and based on the outdoor location where Bailey's body was found, one would expect to see his body teeming with blowfly eggs in a short period of time after his death. Blowflies arrive very shortly after death and lay hundreds of easily observable eggs in a freshly dead body's orifices and wounds. Given that Bailey's body had no blowfly eggs on it, each of the forensic entomologists independently concluded that he had died close in time to when the body was discovered around 10 p.m. on July 8th. Man, it sounds like they needed Grissom from CSI. During which time, as conceded even by the prosecution, Labado was 3 hours away with her family in Panaca. A forensic pathologist also independently concluded that based on the recorded rigor mortis changes in Bailey's body between the time when his body was discovered and when his autopsy was conducted, he likely died during the early evening hours of July 8th. Based on this compelling scientific evidence, which could have been presented at Labado's trial and which would have likely changed the jury's outcome, Judge Miley granted Labado's habeas corpus petition and vacated her convictions. Labado was represented by Barry Scheck, Vanessa Potkin, Adnan Sultan, and Jane Pooker of the Innocence Project, as well as by local counsel David Chesnoff and Robert DeMarco of Chesnoff and Schoenfield. Okay, here via CNN is what happened with their settlement. A federal jury in Nevada has awarded more than $34 million to a woman who was arrested at 18, wrongly convicted twice, and served nearly 16 years in Nevada prison. Okay. She's now 41 and uses the name Blaze, cried and hugged her attorneys after a judge read the trial verdict Thursday in district court. She said that it's been an uphill battle with many obstacles and she's happy that all's been finally finished. Labado said she didn't know if becoming a millionaire would make up for years in prison, adding that she had no idea what the rest of her life was going to look like. The civil trial jury found Las Vegas police and two detectives, now retired, fabricated evidence during their investigation and intentionally inflicted emotional distress upon Labado. The panel determined that Labado should receive $34 million in compensatory damages from the department and $10,000 in punitive damage from each former detective. The detectives, Thomas Towson and James La Rochelle, and their attorney Craig Anderson, declined to comment outside the court. Anderson told U.S. District Judge Richard Boulware he planned to file additional court documents following the verdict. Anderson said Friday an appeal was likely. The department previously agreed to pay damages if the jury trial ruled in Labado's favor. Well, here's hoping she can build a new life. It would be one thing if the people who actually did this had the ability to pay this kind of money out. But no, this money is going to be coming primarily from taxpayers. They had to pay to keep this woman forcibly behind bars, even though she was innocent. Now they're having to pay out to have this woman compensated for horrible things done to her. Now, my question is, why is it that we keep tolerating this? I mean, it's starting to get fixed more and more, but at what cost? These bad actors that have badges are causing people not to want to become cops. The lies are costing taxpayers millions upon millions of dollars. There are people still sitting in jail that are innocent, and cops know that they're innocent. Now, I'm not saying everybody is. I'm saying I would almost guarantee you that an extreme percentage of the people in jail did it. I mean, you take a listen to some of these people that are online now that are making money off of their life stories, such as Sammy Gravano, Michael Francis. There's another feller that used to be, I don't know what he did, but he started a channel where he goes at things and he does interviews, and he's always talking about chomos. He's always going after them. Okay, these folks were able to turn their life around after a long time doing bad deeds. Okay, I'm glad for it. But at the same time, how many of these cops do we hear about that to make themselves look better, get innocent people put in jail? How many innocent people have to pass away because of bad actors? It makes, when valid situations happen that can look a little questionable, it makes us automatically assume that the innocent people were not the cops. That needs to end. We need to get back to the point that we can trust these government employees that have badges and realize that they have a tough job, which they do. But at the same time, putting innocent people in jail and constantly going after people, that needs to end. That needs to end quickly. This has been Paul, the Redneck Thinker. Y'all have a good day now. Bye. Folks, I just want to say thank you for listening. I want to thank you for taking your time. I want to hear what your comments are about what you think on this topic, because your comments are what's important, not necessarily mine. I don't care if you're Republican. I don't care if you're conservative. I don't care if you're liberal. I don't care if you're Democrat. I want to hear your opinion on these topics. I want to thank you yet again for listening to my video. Like, subscribe, and all that other hoopla. This has been Paul, the Redneck Thinker. Y'all have a good day now. Bye.